Hi, good day. This is Claire Smith, your spiritual mentor and coach, also known as Dr. Claire, and some people say Dr. Smith, and coming to you with unlocking your future. Today, we're going to be looking at how you can deal with change. It's all about change. We know that we all have to deal with change, and so unlock your future, resistance overcoming change resistance and embracing new opportunities in 2025. And I apologize, I had some technical hitches, and so I'm a tad behind the 4 p.m., but I'm here, and so we're going to get into talking about unlocking your future, embracing change, looking at change resistance, because one of the things we know is that even when we say we want change, there is still some resistance that comes. We also know that change is a part of life, and resistance to change is also a part of life. And sometimes we are aware that we're resisting, and then there are other times when we are not so aware. And so let's think a little about change. As I said, it's a part of life. It's a certainty in life, and it impacts how you understand yourself, how you present yourself to others, and how you interact with those around you. And what is change? The definition I like to use for change is that change is a point when a movement from one state to another occurs. So we have physical changes, like I can physically get up and move. I may move houses, change states, move from one country to another. And then sometimes the change is emotional because something happens that changes our emotional state. We may move from joy to sorrow or from sorrow to joy. Something happens that changes what is going on in us, in our emotions, our feelings. Also, our psychological state may change, may get a shock. And sometimes change affects all facets. Situational, spiritual changes happen. Sometimes we talk about being in that desert place. The thing about it is that all change, whether it is great or small, has the capacity to overwhelm us and throw us off balance. And even when we don't think we are overwhelmed, and maybe we're not overwhelmed, there are times when the path forward seems murky. The other aspect is that with change, we often fail to consider the ramifications. So we may say, oh, this is a great change for me. I'm getting a job promotion. But what does that mean? There are things that go with it, and some things are not on the job description. Work with clients who have to figure out now, okay, I got a promotion and this is my job description, but there are all these unspoken things that I have to navigate around. And then mentally, I have to make a shift as well as some other things that I used to do that, but even though the job description doesn't say I can't do it anymore, if I keep doing it, then I can't do the new job. So there are all these little things that sometimes we don't even think about because change is always multifaceted, regardless of the source, regardless of the reason for it. There is a multifaceted aspect to it. And because of that, there is the human tendency to push back, to resist change. When I talk about resist, I'm thinking about resisting with the implications of pushing back from what it entails, pulling away from it. And this is where the greatest danger of self-sabotage comes in. And that's why we want to have awareness so that we don't resist unconsciously and sabotage the opportunities that are ahead of us. And that's why the title is Unlocking right? Unlocking the opportunities, looking at our inbuilt resistance and seeing how we can best move forward, unlocking the future, overcoming resistance, and embracing the future. And it's important, especially at the start of the year, to talk about this. Another thing about change is we don't want to just manage it, we also want to navigate it and embrace it. And that way we are able to make the most of it. I want us to think a little about Peter in the Bible. There's a story that some of us may be familiar with, Matthew chapter 16, and it's in verse 13 and following, where Jesus says to the disciples, "Who do they say that I am?" And, they're giving all these answers, and Peter gives the best answer: "You're the Christ, the Son of the living God." And then shortly after that, when Jesus begins to talk about what is going to happen to him, and the truth is, if they'd seen that they'd been following Jesus, they had to have known. But when Jesus put it in stark relief, the same Peter who had this wonderful revelation says, "Oh, no, 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 not you." And so we see for little things, for big things, we can have that resistance and recognizing it. And Jesus turned to Peter and said, "Get thee behind me, Satan," because he understood where it was coming from. We want to look at where our resistance is coming from. There's something I use to help us do that, and it's called a LAT, Lat, uh, and it means look, assess, and turn. So, what we want to do when we sense resistance is to look at it, assess where it is coming from, and then turn it on its head. And that's what I'm inviting you to do so that you can overcome change resistance. The the hesitancy. Okay, before I talk about when I'm talking about looking at it, here are some ways to know whether or not you're dealing with resistance. One is hesitancy. You're on the edge of a change, but you hesitate. Even when it was something that you welcomed or something you said, "Yes, I want to do this," you hesitate. You may have initiated the change, but there is that little thing that keeps you from plunging ahead. And you have these questions about the situation. And sometimes you question yourself just as you are on the brink of moving into the change. You said, should I have done that? Was this the right choice? Did I get the right advice? Or maybe did I give the right advice? Is this the right timing? And all sorts of things move us into the realm of hesitation, which tells us there's resistance, which is closely linked to procrastination. We keep putting it off. It's a little deeper than hesitancy. We keep putting off the move. It's like you just can't bring yourself to get it together or make the necessary changes. And so you want to in, but you're not quite there. And sometimes it's simple things like you say you want a closer relationship with God, but sometimes the implication of that closer relationship with God, especially, and I know this was for me in my early journey, if we think God may be calling us to give up something or to go where we don't want to go, it's like, yeah, I want a closer relationship with God, but when am I going to do the quiet time? When am I going to put aside the time for prayer, for Bible reading? These are the things that show us that there's a little resistance, that procrastination, and then reverting back to the previous state. So we start off merrily along and we're going and we're happy and we've made the change. Maybe we move to a new location. And then what do? We're not trying to make friends there. We keep going back to where we used to live. We keep going back to the old friends. Now, I don't mean you should give up your friends, but you're not embracing and trying to figure out the new where you are. You're stuck in the past. That means there's some resistance to change. And even your thinking, you're not changing your thinking. You got promoted to be a manager, but you're still thinking like somebody who's not a manager. And so you're not looking at the big picture resistance. And then there's some emotions that indicate resistance. Sometimes it's just sadness or apathy, those things. And conflicting emotions tell us that there's tension within us. So again, like I said, we want to look at the chain, look at resistance, and don't ignore, don't pretend it's not there. Look at it, accept that it's there, and then assess what's really going on. Is it a fear of failure, a fear of success, a fear of the unknown? Is it a sense of inadequacy within you? And here is why we're assessing. If it's fear of the unknown, then there are ways you can encourage yourself in the Lord. You can encourage yourself to move into to do things that would help the unknown become more real to you. If it's fear, there are things you can do. You can pray away the fear. Um, if it's of failure, you can. If it's fear of failure, then you can do everything you can to learn what's needed so that you're not being trapped into failing. If it's, again, similarly, if it's a sense of inadequacy, then what do you do to make sure that you're adequate? And sometimes you just need to look within and to remind yourself of the skills you already have, and then look at how you amplify those. Is it a lack of confidence in self and others? Then where is that coming from? What is it in the past that may have made you feel you can't trust yourself, you can't trust other people, and how do you get rid of that? Is it lack of faith in God? Then again, we know how to strengthen ourselves in the Lord. Doubting that you're ready, even though everybody that's around you says, yes, you're ready, you can do this. Do you need more information? So, assessing the resistance is necessary to get us to move forward so that we can turn the resistance on the head. Sometimes it's is the timing not right? And here I want to say that there is a point at which resistance points us to the need to slow down or pause. There is that. However, we can use that as an excuse, and often the resistance is just us needing to press forward. So we need the spirit of discernment. And that's why sometimes my clients work with me to help them get clarity on what they should do. And to that end, I devised a program called Pathway to Clarity, your guide to navigating complex changes with confidence, hope, and love. And it's a 90-day program so that people can have time to go through what I call the change path, where they get aware of it and they awaken to it. They look at their reaction, how they're resisting. They get to pause and take everything into consideration and then move forward with confidence, amplifying their lives. And you're welcome to join that program. Like I said, 90 days, you get video lessons and reflection prompts, one-on-one time with me. And if you're interested, you can just put in the comments, tell me more, or send me a message. And I'll have a conversation with you for us to see how that could fit. So yes, we want to look at resistance and acknowledge that it's there. Remember, it's that look, assess, and turn. We've talked about assessing how you know, how you can assess things to look for, and to and to assessing is examining why the resistance is there from the perspectives of the personal, the lack of confidence, the sense of the fear of failure, those type of things, but also is the resistance, okay, just press forward, or is the resistance also you need to pause a little? And so what we want to do now is turn the resistance onto itself and let it be a moment that propels you forward to take advantages of it. Because it can lead to adjustment, which brings you to greater certainty or maybe a better way of initiating the change. When if it points to the need for more training, that means you're building greater capacity. And if you have to push through, then you're growing. You're employing resources, skills, and mental acuity that you didn't even know you were capable of. And it brings you to the clarifying moment when you you have the change. You have the change. Sorry, my computer thought I wanted it to go to sleep. When you and it threw me off a little. The clarifying moment as you gain insight into yourself, your situation, insight into others, the change, the possibilities, and always praying for guidance, wisdom, and strength so that you are able to know what is needed in the moment, but also the strength to keep moving on. So I want to ask you, how can you turn the resistance you are experiencing on its head? And you can just put a little comment there, whether you're watching it now or later. And I'm going to talk about opportunities because all changes have opportunities. And it's for you to identify the opportunity that's before you. And inherent in turning it on its head is opportunity. And always the opportunity to grow. It could be the opportunity to meet new people, the opportunity to um, move at a higher level. New pathways are opening. So remember, change is inevitable. It has potential to have you be more, but it is always accompanied by some hesitation. So be sure to, as you go to a change, whether it be a relocation, a personal dynamic that's changed through death or divorce, remarriage, empty nester, whatever that type of situation is, a job loss, a job promotion, a change of job, whatever these are, and whether you welcome them or you don't welcome them, you are going to be resisting at some level. So take a look, see what the resistance is, where it is, what's causing it, and then as you do that assessment, turn it on its head and let it be a time, an opportunity for you to grow and move into the new that God has for you. This is Claire Smith, your spiritual mentor and coach, and I help successful leaders navigate the tension between their professional drive and personal life while deepening their relationship with God, others, and themselves so that they have clarity amidst life changes. And I invite you to join me on the pathway to clarity because those who are working with me are finding it to be of immense benefit. One person, I think I put some of what she said on my page that I'd helped her with her marriage and with her leadership. And I'll be posting another conversation I had with another client later on, probably maybe in the new week. But yeah, you're welcome to join me. Like I said, you can put tell me more in the comments or just send me a message. So thank you and God bless you. Bye bye.